Hey, what's the story? Yours truly, Philbo here, and welcome back to Philbo Reviews for another gig review here on the channel. Hope you're keeping well. Thanks a million for clicking on the video. Absolutely delighted to see you, as always. Tonight I'm going to be talking about a trio of bands who recently played the Academy in Dublin. And those bands are, of course, Drowningpool from Dallas, Texas, Spineshank from Los Angeles, USA, and hedpe, also out of Los Angeles, but the singer MC Underdog, hailing from Texas. So we had three bands one night, Thursday the 13th of November 2025. And what drew me to this gig was the absolute nostalgia of it all. I was 15 years old in the year 2000. Spineshank came out with The Height of Callousness in 2000 and absolutely blew up in the metal scene. It was a perfect mix of industrial metal, new metal, and with Johnny Santos on vocals, and with an incredible ability to do an awesome chorus. For example, Synthetic, New Disease, the whole bit. If you remember correctly, Kerrang and Scuzz were two massive metal channels operating at the time. MTV was all but dead and gone. MTV was really only MTV for about 14 years or so. Then it turned into a load of shit. Fucking Teen Moms UK, fucking Catfish, all that crap, and I forgot about the music. But Kerrang and Scuzz were two channels on digital that kept loyal to metal, and I think we can all remember enjoying those channels back around the age 14, 15, 16. So when I saw Spineshank were back together, they were celebrating 25 years, of course, 2000 to 2025, 25 goddamn years of The Height of Callousness, and they were playing that album in its entirety from start to finish. And Johnny Santos was back on vocals, and Tommy Decker was on drums. His son was in on guitar, and Garcia was in on bass. So we had three original members. The original guitarist, I think his name was Mike, he wasn't with them, but I thought Height of Callousness from start to finish, plus a couple of hits. hedpe, an awesome rapcore band that have been on the go since 1994. 31 years they've been going. Never seen hedpe live. I was meant to see Spineshank in 2003, but correct me if I'm wrong. It was either 2000 or I think it was 2003 in the Temple Bar Music Centre. But very, very, very sadly, the singer Johnny Santos' dad had passed away, and he had to cancel his commitments to his tour in UK and Ireland. So completely understandable, absolutely. But that was the last opportunity that there was to see Spineshank in Ireland until now. So hedpe, Spineshank, and Drowningpool. Now, Drowningpool in 2002, when the Ozfest came to Ireland, you remember it. Ozfest came to Punchestown Racecourse, and unfortunately, God bless Ozzy, God rest your soul, wasn't able to show up due to sickness. But Drowningpool were on the bill with the original singer, of course, Dave Williams in tow. So I remember being in Punchestown, checking out the Ozfest, and Dave Williams was on stage in his Pantera 101 proof sleeveless t-shirt. And speaking of 101 proof Pantera t-shirt, the great legendary Dimebag Darrell nicknamed Dave Williams Stage. And the reason he nicknamed him Stage is because of his unbelievable presence, an incredible frontman, incredible presence, and just a great fucking super cool guy. And completely heartbreaking and tragic that Dave Williams' life ended at 30 years old, the same year in 2002. I think it was only a matter of months after we saw him. But during that time, me being a 17-year-old kid, slinging things around and slinging myself around in the mosh. It was super wet and muddy, and we were throwing mud at each other, and the security decided to take me out. You notice with my other videos that kind of happened a lot when I was a teenager, but they took me out of the pit during Drowningpool. So I only got to see maybe two songs before I was dragged out of the venue. So, and also, I mentioned to my late brother-in-law, Izzy, El Nino were playing the Voodoo Lounge with Drowningpool in 2007, on April 14th, 2007. And the reason I very specifically remember that is because my brother-in-law Izzy passed away on that date, and naturally I was not going to any fucking concerts that night. So, in short, never seen Drowning Pool live, never seen Spineshank live, and never seen hedpe live. So I thought this trio is an absolute must. So, just about sold out. I believe there was literally a handful of tickets, maybe 25, 30 tickets left on the door on the night. So a really, really successful sale for the Academy. So, let's get into it. We'll talk about the set lists. We'll talk about the atmosphere. I got some great footage of the gig. I'll link the footage down below. I got the full hedpe set. I got the full Spineshank set. And I think I got the whole Drowning Pool set, with the exception of maybe one song. But I'll tell you my thoughts. I'll go through the set list. So, make yourself comfortable. About 10-15 minute video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing and hearing. And welcome to Philbo's again. So, let's get to it. So, it was an early start to the gig. The times were put back an hour than what they usually would have been. So, instead of doors at 6:30, doors at 5:30. And hedpe were the first band on. So, they were on about 6:15, maybe 6:20. Possibly even 6:30, not 100% sure. But while I was wandering around getting me bearings in the place trying to find a good spot, I bumped into two old faces in the crowd that I hadn't seen in a long time. So I was saying hello, getting the buzz going, and one of them handed me a pick. And I was like, he goes, there you go. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. That's cool. And I go, who's your friend? And there's two guys I knew, of course. And then there's this guy beside him. I was like, who's your friend? So I grabbed him and I put my arms around him and I was squeezing him. And I was like lifting him up going, hey, what's the story, man? How are you getting on? Oh, I was like, you're a great weight you are. You're not too heavy. You're not too light. You're like right in the middle. Like I could carry you around on my back all day. And I kind of, as I was doing this person was finding it hilarious. So I figured, hey, new friend, let's have the crack. And the other two were kind of looking at me like, and I was like, what's there? And they're like, Phil, that's Drowning Pool's bass player. And I'm like, no way. And I'm like, that explains you handed me the pick a minute ago. And I was like, that's cool. And I turned to him and I go, are you Drowning Pool's bass player? And he goes, yeah. I was like, no, you're not. And I go, say you sell she shells down by the seashore. And he goes, you sell she sells down by this. And he had the Texas accent. So that was my test. And I go, oh, Texas. You are the fucking bass player. And I threw my arms around him again and lifted him up and I fucking having the absolute crack with him. Got a great picture with him. Because I wasn't under the impression that Stevie Benton wasn't touring on this cycle. Because the band Drowning Pool are drummer, guitarist, CJ, and then Stevie Benton on bass. They're the three original guys. And I wasn't under the impression that Benton wasn't touring. So him being and I asked him, how long are you with them? And how long are you with the band? And he says about a year. So maybe Stevie Benton's taking a time out from touring. But I met their stand-in bass player, stand-up guy, super cool guy. Got a great fucking picture with him. So I made my way and found my spot for hedpe starting. And I've always heard incredible things about hedpe all through the years. Jared, the singer, MC Underdog, demands the stage right from the get-go. We start off with two tracks from their not most recent album, but their second most recent, I think it was 2023, an album called Detox, and a track called No Way Out, and then straight into another track off Detox called Rat Race. And it's a fucking awesome start. I love the energy that they bring. The singer, Jared, 61 years old. He's been the only solid member of the band since 1994. That's 31 years in the game. And you know what? He is absolutely lost no steam. Then we get into Peer Pressure and one of their big favourites as well, Killing Time, of probably their most famous album, Broke, from the year 2000 again. Spineshank's big hit, year 2000. hedpe brought out Broke in the year 2000. And Killing Time, just killing time. Just killing time. Fucking great. Really, really enjoyed that one. Then we got into one of my favourite hedpe songs from the album Blackout called Blackout. No, I gotta get in. Just let me in. No, I gotta know now. Where do I begin? I black out. Really fucking cool. So we're halfway through. Absolutely loving it. Next, another track off Broke called I Got You. I mean, the crowd is still building. The crowd is still quite small because it's only 6:30 on a Thursday evening. Most people finish work at 5, get their shit together, come in. You know, people are only arriving, but as things go along, they're getting busier and busier, and the crowd are really, really feeding off the energy. Then we get a track from Only in America called Raise Hell. Really, really fucking cool song. Really enjoyed it. Then we had a bit of Get Up, Stand Up for Your Right. Bit of the Wailers, bit of cover action, and then another one of their albums that I had heard of, Back to Base X. They did a track called Let's Ride. Very, very cool. Then another really famous one that I remember from back in the Kerrang days, Off Broke, is Bartender. Great hip hop track, rapcore. Such a great live band, charismatic singer. Had the crowd in the palm of his hand by the end of it. Had everyone singing. Just gave off tons of great energy. And you know what? It was an absolutely awesome start to the gig. And they finished about 10 or 11 songs. They finished with Renegade off New World Orphans, their album from 2009. So, 16 albums, a band that have been grinding since 1994, and a singer that has stuck by the project since day one. So happy to have seen them. I got all the footage of their gig. If you want to check out the link below, it is so worth watching. Great live band, great energy, incredibly charismatic frontman, and they were starting the night off with a massive bang. Like, they really, really kicked all of the fucking ass, and an incredible band to start things off. Couldn't have been more happier. Absolutely, positively delighted with them. And you know what? It's an 8.5 out of 10 for hedpe. 8.5 out of 10. I wish the crowd was a bit more into it, so I took a little off that. But that's nothing on the band. It's just about starting the hour early. I mean, if they'd gone on at 7:30 instead of 6:30, the place would have been teeming. Would have been seriously jumping. And the set was a little short as well. And but 8.5 out of 10 for hedpe. Nothing to be sneered at. I will absolutely be keeping my ear to the ground for them playing in future. What a start. Things are off with a bang. Next up, of course, we have the industrial metal band, new metal band Spineshank out of Los Angeles, who were back together to celebrate 25 years of the height of callousness. Great stage setup. The Spineshank sign on the screen at the back, and it started off with the Warriors come out to play. Warriors come out to play. You know, that Patrick David Kelly scene in the movie The Warriors. Super cool, super eerie start to the set as well. Absolutely loved it. Very, very cool. But now they came out with pure, full, unadulterated energy. Now, Johnny Santos was criticised a little bit in the first few shows back because they've been very much inactive since 2012. So, you know, 13 years off the road. And Johnny Santos was being criticised because his first few gigs back, his voice was very weak. But I don't think the YouTube videos really show the power. I think he did very, very well. And I had no issues with his voice on the night. So just so you know, anybody catching gigs down the line, his voice is getting sharper and sharper every single gig. And you know what? It was at the peak of its powers tonight. So they played the height of callousness, right? From start to finish, but they didn't do it in order. Of course, they manipulated the order in order to handle the chaos, and the pits were crazy. They started off with probably one of their most famous songs, Synthetic. One of probably the most catchiest chorus in early 2000s. Still I waste another day of my life. You know it. And it sickens me to feel this way. So cool. Then we went into Can't Be Fixed, Cyanide 2600, Play God, Malnutrition, you know, all the album, but just twisted around to suit the vibe, and the crowd are absolutely eating it up. Then we get into Seamless, Negative Space, Transparent, love Transparent. Then they finish off the set with they finish off that section of the set with New Disease and the height of callousness. And here in the album from start to finish, the electronics were all written by Tommy Decker. He handled the keyboards, the synths, all the electronics of their sound. So he has a massive part to do with the wild, ferocious sound of the drums, obviously being the drummer, and he did all the programming. And hearing the electronics and the programming and the industrial side of the band live, It really is a whole different beast than listening to it on the CD. It's got fucking raging fucking program and techno, the whole bit. Such a great album. Delighted to have seen it in its entirety. And then on the encore, we got into stuff from Self-Destructive Pattern. Right now, I hope if anyone from Spineshank is out there looking at this, please do something similar for the Self-Destructive Pattern album. When that turns 25 now, in I think in 2020, saying a couple, it's not far behind Height the Callous now. We don't know the exact year. But when Self-Destructive Pattern turns 25, please tour it again and do that album in its entirety. I actually prefer Self-Destructive Pattern to The Height of Callousness. I know I might be on an island on that. Any Spineshank fans, sound off like you got a pair and drop a comment down in the fucking comment box. Tell me what your favourite album is. Do you prefer Height of Callousness? Maybe you like Strictly Diesel, their first album. Maybe you like Self-Destructive Pattern. Drop a comment and let's respectfully talk about it. But love The Height of Callousness, but when it got into the encore and they started with Smothered, Smothered is my single-handed most favourite Spineshank song. Hands down. Absolutely adore it. Then it gets straight into violent mood swings and things get violent. First lyric, motherfuck the way you think. You never made sense anyway. Oh, it's a beast. Then we get into the track that he had on, that Spineshank had on the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack in 2003, The Beginning of the End. If you hear it, you'd know it is the beginning of the end, and I know that I am all alone. It's a fucking great song. And then finishing with Dead to Me as well. So 4 tracks off Self-Destructive Pattern and the entirety of The Height of Callousness. The band were drenched in sweat. The fucking crowd were exhausted. Spineshank absolutely blew the bastard roof off the place. It was a sight to behold. They are a crushing band live, man. Crushing. And the hedpe was like a mellow kind of few joints, kind of relaxing, bit of reggae, bit of this and that, bit of rap metal, a few riffs here and there, and a fucking great front man. But then Spineshank comes in and completely fucking rips your fucking balls off. And just sets them, puts them in a fucking blender and hits frappe. You know, they were class. So the great heft to this band, man. Honestly, one of the heaviest bands to come out of the new metal scene, in my humble opinion. Great set, absolutely adored it, and it was near perfect for me. It was truly near perfect for me. I didn't, do you know what? Nothing is near. I mean, I'm going to say Spineshank for me, you know, a solid 9.5 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10. I couldn't have been, I take a half off because I wouldn't have done a certain rotation. There was a bit in the middle from Play God up to Seamless, which are 3 kind of, not filler tracks on the album, but they wouldn't be as known as others. And it kind of, a little bit of a lull in kind of track 5, 6, and 7. Whilst doing The Height of Callousness. They kind of came out swinging with Synthetic, Can't Be Fixed, and then they finished off the album strong with New Disease and Height. But just in the middle, a little, maybe if they had taken out Malnutrition in number 6 and maybe put in Can't Be Fixed there instead, just to keep the heaviness momentum. But that's just a nitpick at best. So 8.5 out of 10 for hedpe. 9.5 out of 10 for Spineshank. I mean, this is shaping up to be an absolute banger. Loved seeing Johnny Santos back on stage. I used to absolutely love his vocals back in the early 2000s. Back when I was doing vocals, I used to practice the likes of Smothered, Synthetic, Violent Mood Swings. I used to practice all them when I'd be trying to tune my voice up and get it at the peak of its powers. And absolutely an absolute hero of my early my rise into metal. So Johnny Santos, absolutely love you, man. Great to see us live. Chick ticked off the bucket list. Hope to see us back again. Really do. Incredible energy, great live band, and you know what, loved it. 9.5 out of 10. One more band to go. Stay tuned, guys. Vibe in the show is absolutely kicking ass. Great crowd, great set of folks, and you know what, I didn't want to miss any of this, so I discovered this. I was standing at the bar, right? And I know in my review from Die Artist Murder last time in the Academy, I gave the pints a really fucking hard time, you know what I mean? Because they ever so slightly tasted like the back end of my nutsack after climbing Mount Fuji. But I was standing at the bar and I noticed this coming out of somewhere, coming out of the woodwork. I was like, what? I go, hold the phone. Hold my calls. Excuse me, bartender. What's with the cups? What the fuck is with the cups? And where have they been all my life? And he goes, it's a double beer. By the way, he didn't sound like this. This is for humor. It's a double beer. I was like, a double beer? What's a double beer? And he said, well, it's 2 beers in 1 cup. And I was like, well, how much is a double beer? Is it cheaper than buying 2 beers? Thinking that, obviously, a double beer in a big, massive cup. This is blackcurrant, by the way. Don't drink drugs. Is it any cheaper? And he goes, no! And I'm like, what? It's the same as if you buy 2 beers, but it's in a really big cup. And I'm like, that's very disappointing. Give me one now. 15 quid for a double beer. So you've got, and the Heineken, and by the way, I never thought I'd say this, the upstairs part of a fucking venue has nicer pints than the downstairs. Any barman out there, bar ladies, that doesn't happen. You know that doesn't happen. But upstairs, the Heineken, shout out to Heineken, and shout out to Jeff Hanneman, drinking the Jeff. Every time we drink Heineken, we think of you, Jeff. Not sponsored by Heineken or alcohol at all, just so you know. But the Heineken, you should have seen it. Big, enormous double Heineken, lovely frothy head in it. I had to go back for a couple more. And the distance from where I was standing at the barricade to the bar is like 2 arms lengths away. So I was like, this is pretty fucking cushy. And I was like, keep the fucking extra large beers coming, pal. Now, I'm not sure if I should have taken the cups with me, but you know what? I paid 15 fucking quid for it, so I fucking deserve it. Fucking 2 large cups now. Fucking D cups, double D cups. So, the beer redeemed itself. I thought I'd throw that in because I made such a big deal in the last review about how shit the beer was. But, you've redeemed yourselves, guys, so 10 out of 10. Great bar staff as well. Big shout out to all the bar staff in the Academy in Dublin. They are fucking laid back. They're mellow. They're super cool. They're able to have a laugh and they're able to put up with me, which is the most important thing. So next up and finally we have Drowningpool. Drowningpool take the stage. The Dallas, Texas band formed in 1996, of course, by the late, great Dave Williams. Of course, I've mentioned he passed away very tragically in 2002. But since then, they've had a couple of... The band has been the same. The drummer, the bassist, and the guitar player have all been the same. Never changed, which is awesome. But they've had a rotating singer. They've had... they had a guy on... Jason... I can't remember. The guy on Desensitized, their second album. Do you want to step up? He was in for one album, which was okay, which was fine. Desensitized wasn't bad. It was an okay album. Then they had another guy, Jason Morena. He was in on their last 3 albums. And they had Ryan McCombs from Soil. Big shout out to Soil. Love Ryan, love Soil. I've been, Scars is one of my favourite albums of that era. And Redefine, great, love it. Anytime, and that was another major pull. Because I'd never seen Soil live, and I always loved Ryan McCombs as a frontman. I've never seen anyone else in my entire life love being a frontman and a singer of a band than him. He's an absolute class act, and his voice is incredible. So that was a major pull. So he was on the Full Circle album, and he was on the self-titled album, Drowningpool. And then, so he was the singer. Tonight, of course, we had my new friend, the bass player, who I met very funnily earlier. And they were ready to take on and fucking follow Spineshank's incredible start to the show. Was bananas. They had a lot to live up to. But they came straight out, busted into Sinner, of course, the debut album. Played a ton of tracks off that. They did Sinner, then a track called Feel Like I Do, which has a great groove to it. That's off the self-titled album. Then we have the only album that doesn't feature, they have Step Up, from Desensitized. Sorry, the only song from Desensitized is Step Up, and one of my personal favourites as far as Drowning Pool goes. Then we're back to the self-titled album with Let the Sin Begin. Great groove, great hard rock, new metal sound to this band. They're fun, and now you notice straight off the bat, 4 songs in, they're nowhere near as heavy and intense as Spineshank. That is apparent right out of the gate. But we have 3 bands with 3 very different sounds, so let's embrace it, give everyone and respect everyone for what they're bringing to the table. Then one of my favourite Drowning Pool albums, Full Circle, comes into play. We get Enemy and 37 Stitches. Then we get a super cool cover of Billy Idol's Rebel, yeah. In the midnight hour, I need more, more, more. And Ryan McComb's voice couldn't fit a song more in the entire universe. That was super fun. Then back to Sinner again. Pretty much for the rest of the show, we get Sermon. Pity me, don't you pity me. We got Tear Away, which is incredibly cool live. The entirety of the place were singing their absolute hearts out. They did like a 6 or 7 minute version. Again, all this footage is on my channel. And then we got into Reminded, which is one of my personal favorites. Reminded of you. And then finished with Bodies. And Bodies absolutely, positively killed. It was insane. The sing back was incredible. The energy was incredible. Ryan McCombs absolutely owns the stage. Ryan McCombs owns the motherfucking stage. And the mic stand, he gets right into the middle of the crowd, plants the stand in the middle of the crowd, and does the whole Bodies bit. I got some great footage down. I reached the camera down as far as I could, and you get a great shot of him in the middle, just his head popping out, because they shined a torch. They shined a torch on him, the security, to make sure they didn't lose track of where he was. And it's super cool. Check out the links below. Hopefully this has enticed you to check out the footage. And if you're in the UK or Europe, they're coming to a town near you any day now. So hopefully this gets you on board as well, even though most of them are sold out. So I think they're all right without a push-o from Philbo. But when all is said and done, Bodies rattles through the place. The standouts in the Drowning Pool set were I loved Tear Away. I loved Bodies. Reminded is great. Step Up is always class. Always love that song. Sinner is always a great start. Feel Like I Do. But after hedpe kicking all the tush and then Spineshank just blasting us with some heavy industrial noise, it was hard for Drowning Pool to pull it back, to win the night, so to speak. But it was a solid set. Delighted I've seen them. But they did fall short as far as the energy. I think Spineshank absolutely fucking exhausted everybody in the place, which I totally get. hedpe set a really high bar. Spineshank knew that. They took that, brought it up to the next level. So all is said and done, 7.5 out of 10 for Drowning Pool. They lacked a bit of energy getting the set going. They kind of felt a little intimidated, I think, by Spineshank's performance, because they really did fucking kill. And yeah, so I think 7.5 out of 10 for Drowning Pool. My first time seeing them properly. Absolutely so happy to see all these bands, and I will definitely see all these bands again, and I recommend you go and see all these bands. So again, just to recap, hedpe 8.5 out of 10. I'm a new fan. I'm a new fan. I'm a newborn baying at the light of the moon. hedpe, fucking hell yeah. Spineshank 9.5 out of 10. Near perfect. Absolute blistering set. All my favourites in there. Just killer. For a band that have been off the boil for like 12, 13 years as far as touring and writing, they have really got their shit back together. And shout out to Tommy Decker and his kid, rocking the drums and the guitar. Tons of energy. And then we have Drowning Pool coming in again, 7.5 out of 10. A little off the boil compared to the other two as far as energy, but the finish of Bodies was one that I'll never forget, and really enjoyed Tear Away as well. So the whole night in general, an absolute win. I think it's fair to call the whole night a good 9 out of 10. Great venue, great staff, great setup, lovely Heineken, really big cups, great bands, great setup, and DME. Big fucking respect to you guys, as always. DME Promotions, Dublin metal events, the glue that binds us and keeps us fucking rocking in this fair city. Much fucking respect. Again, not sponsored by any of these people, but if when you deserve praise, you should get it, don't you think? DME for life. Fucking Dublin metal events. You're fucking fantastic. Keep up the excellent work. Hope you've enjoyed this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more gig reviews. I review movies every Friday night. I review I do metal albums, I do metal rankings, I do there's Philbo's joke corner where I tell shitty jokes. People get a kick out of that. And then there's the segments where I talk about the story. Hey, what's the story? Yours truly, Philbo here. The story, where I do little segments talking about funny and crazy segments of my life. So I always say, hey, what's the story? Yours truly, Philbo here. And all the American people watching, or Australian, like, what the fuck? What's the story? What do you mean the story? You know, they don't know it's a term of endearment here in Ireland and a greeting. So I do little segments called The Story. So one of these days I'll get into the gigs and the story and talk about all the craziness in the gigs. So thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay fucking awesome. Stay super cool. May the sun always shine. And yeah, my rabbit. He need feeding time for the pets. Thanks for watching. May the sun always shine, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.